experience on racial profiling. Are you willing to talk a little about that?
Sure, yeah, so one of the things I feel like you can learn a lot about is just by going somewhere and sitting down and watching and looking how people interact. So one Saturday morning, my daughter and I went down to Findlay Market. So we walked around Findlay Market with a nice mixed crowd, a lot of people rubbing shoulders with each other that wouldn't normally see each other, and that was great. Well, I thought it'd be interesting to kind of sit down and just observe racial dynamics at work as we were there. So my daughter and I sat down across the street from Findlay Market at our daily bread, and we just sat there for about 20-25 minutes, just relaxing. And one of the things that I was really struck by as I was watching was on one side of the street, you had more kind of apartment housing type stuff, and on the other side of the street, there was it's like kind of a transitional area where there's more restaurants and that kind of thing. And I noticed as we were sitting there on the side of our daily bread, I mean, it was like there was a lot of residents that were sitting out kind of like on the steps close to where they live. And most of the residents there are African American. But then I looked on the other side of the street, and there was a bunch of people that were walking up towards like Findlay Market, and it was almost exclusively white people. I'm like, what's going on here? This is kind of strange. So on the one side, it was almost 100% black. On the other side, almost 100% white. So then I was watching for a little bit longer, and some people had to park on the side of the street that had black residents on it. And these persons would get out of their, like they'd park their cars real quick, kind of head on a swivel, and then, walk across, they would jaywalk across the street. They wouldn't go down to the corner and walk across. They would jaywalk across the street as quickly as they could and go up on the white side of the street there. I guess they felt a little bit more safe. So my question was like, what's going on here? Like, why? What is the belief that these people have that these residents on a Saturday morning at 10:30 a.m., why are these people so afraid of these long-term residents, And the only conclusion I could really come to was it was related to race. And the big thing that really stuck out for me was toward the end of us standing there, or sitting there, there was a family that came out. Husband, wife, 3 kids. Kids, toddlerish age, 3, 4, 5 years oldish, around there. So they come out. The dad, wants to be a protector, right? So he's wants to make sure his kids are safe, kids and his wife are safe. Well, same thing. So they are parked, like we're sitting at our daily bread, and they're parked on the side of the street that's mostly black residents, like about 3/4 of the block down. Once again, they walk down the side of the street where they feel safest, and then they jaywalked across, the whole family right there, right in the middle of the block, quickly. And he had like one of those electric things that makes the doors open up, so the doors were opening as they were approaching the car, and his head was on a swivel, just looking everywhere. And then the door closes, and he's still looking as he starts up the car and then pulls away. And I thought, you know what? That dad just wants to protect his family, and that's fine. But one of the things that's behind everything with this is there's something that tells that man that he needs to be afraid. And that thing is directly related, as far as I can see, to the race of the people who are on that side of the street. And for me, that's a clear case of racial profiling.
So can I ask you one more question?
Yeah.
How did you feel when that happened?
Yeah, I felt ashamed. I had tears come to my eyes, and I felt a responsibility to show my daughter a different way. That's why it's crazy to me that people say that we're a post-racial society, that we don't have racism anymore in our society. All we have to do is sit down and look for a little while. So I feel some responsibility for me because I'm a part of the majority white culture. What am I going to do to change that situation? How am I going to protect my family in a different way? How am I going to see people of different races in a different way? And lead by example.
Thank you for sharing your information on racial profiling.
Thank you.
This has been an interview with Mr. Myers and Malachi.